Magandang araw mga kabarangay. So, nandito ulit ako si Sir Pops making another science video for grade 10 students. So, the title of this video is Feedback Mechanism in Female Reproductive System. So, remember the last video related to this topic is role of hormones in male and female reproductive system. So, kung hindi ka pa nakasubscribe sa channel na to, please subscribe to Sir Pops TV at hit nyo na rin tong like button and the notification bell para inform kayo sa lahat ng video na lalabas sa channel na to. So, let's start. So, learning activity sheet in Science 10, title, Feedback Mechanism in Female Reproductive System. The various functions of the body are regulated by the nervous system and the hormones. These are involved in controlling the activity of the female reproductive system in a regular monthly series of events known as the menstrual cycle. So, in order for us to understand feedback mechanism in female reproductive system, so dapat maintindihan din natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng menstruation. So, that is the reason why the introduction is related to the menstrual cycle. Now, if you're going to look at the picture, figure 1, so ito naka-highlight. So, it is a 28-day menstrual cycle for women, no? So, starting from the puberty stages. What do you know about the important events during the menstrual cycle? To know more about these mechanisms, be ready to learn and accomplish the task ahead. MALC natin, describe feedback mechanisms involved in regulating processes in the female reproductive system. Example, menstrual cycle. So, kailangan, at the end of this learning activity sheet, dapat maintindihan o may paliwanag ng mga bata, lalaki man o babae, kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng feedback mechanism at ano ang kanyang role sa female reproductive system. So, importante ito para sa mga boys and girls. No? Sa girls, para maintindihan nila yung mga sarili nila. Sa boys naman, para maintindihan nila kung ano yung mga pinagdadaanan ng mga girls. So maganda to i-discuss sa classroom sana. No? Kasi dito nagiging attentive yung mga bata. Marami kang may share sa kanila. Pero anyway, nandito na tayo sa modular learning. So, stick na lang tayo dito. Now, objectives. Define menstruation. So, you'll be able to define menstruation after this one. Identify the important events during menstrual cycle. Number 3, describe the feedback mechanism in the female reproductive system. So, yung number 3 ang pinaka-importante sa lahat kasi ito yung magdi-describe sa MELC. But without objective number 1 and 2, medyo mahihirapan maintindihan ng mga bata kung ano ibig sabihin ng feedback mechanism. Now, activity 1, I feel you. So, ang ganda ng title na, I feel you. Direction, identify some of the symptoms of menstruation by arranging the jumbled letters in each picture. In figure 1, write your answer on your answer sheet. So, subukan nyo rin sagutin. So, number 1, so, para masagutan natin ito ng madali, tingnan nyo yung picture. No? Ayan, grade 10 students, tingnan nyo po natin yung picture. Ayan, so, ano ibig sabihin yan? So, halimbawa, dito ano yung hawak niya, dito ano yung tinuturo niya, dito ano yung, ayan. So, tingin ko kayang-kaya niya yan. Okay? So, this is what happened to girls kapag meron silang menstruation. Ito yung nararamdaman nila usually. Kaya mainit ang ulo nila, ganun. Nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa kanilang personality. No, hindi naman ganun ka, ano. Pero this is normal, normal po ito sa mga babae. Okay, concept and ideas. Menstruation, aka having your period, is when blood and tissue from your uterus comes out of your vagina. It usually happens every month. What causes a period? So, naglagay ako dito ng picture para kung ano yung sinasabi dito, maintindihan natin dito sa picture na to. Okay? So, try to read the text and refer to the picture. Okay? So, dito sa uterus natin, sa uterus ng mga babae, ito siya, tinuturo. So, this is inside, the inside part of the female reproductive system. So, ito yung kanyang uterus. Now, vagina. Ito yung kanyang vagina. No? Ayan. So, uterus. Ito rin yung uterus niya. Ayan, this is the uterus. Yung may arrow. Thick lining. So, that is also a uterus. Okay, a period happens because of changes in hormones in the body. Hormones are chemical messengers. So, pinag-aralan natin to doon sa una, dito. Ayan, role of the hormones in male and reproductive male and female reproductive system. Kaya medyo may background na yan. The ovaries release the female hormones estrogen and progesterone. So, alam na rin natin to kasi nandun dito sa isa. These hormones cause the lining of the uterus or womb to build up. So, itong part na to, itong thick lining, yan yung uterus niya, and then nagkakaroon ng build up, kumakapal siya, no? So, bakit kumakapal? Yun. If there is no fertilized egg, the lining breaks down. If there is no fertilized egg, the lining breaks down and bleeds, and that is what we call menstruation. The build-up lining is ready for fertilized egg to attach and to start developing. So remember, during the sexual intercourse, if walang during the ovulation ng mga babae, kapag walang dumating na sperm cell, so hindi siya mabubuntis. So walang fertilized egg na nagkaroon inside the uterus or the reproductive system ng mga babae. Kaya ang mangyayari, the lining breaks down and bleeds, so in the form of menstruation. Then the same process happens all over again. It usually takes about a month for the lining to build up and then break down. That is why most girls and women get their periods around once a month. Okay, so ito yung figure 3 natin. So before the period, during the period, kumakapal yung nagbi-bleed siya, no? Tumutulo siya in the form of blood. Now, guide question, what are the hormones responsible for the thickening of the lining of the uterus? Try to answer this, no? So, nandito siya nakalagay. So, para mas maintindihan. What are the possible reasons why uterus thickens? So, nandito rin yung kombinasa nyo. What happens if the uterus does not receive a fertilized egg? Ayan. Now, let's go to the next one. Menstrual phase. The menstrual phase is the first stage of the menstrual cycle. It is also when you get your period. This phase starts when an egg from the previous cycle isn't fertilized because pregnancy hasn't taken place. Levels of the hormones estrogen and progesterone drop. Refer to the figure below. You may have period symptoms like cramps, tender breast, bloating, mood swing, irritability, headaches, tiredness, and low back pain. So, because of the estrogen and the progesterone. So, dito ko na unang natutunan nung pagbasa ko nito, no? Pero matagal na. Menstruation pala is the very first step in the menstrual cycle. So, kung menstruation, ang susunod na step niya ay follicular phase. Ang susunod ay ovulation. At ang pinaka-last stage niya or phase is the luteal phase. Tapos, iikot na naman ulit. Mag-i-start na naman ulit. Menstruation. Now, remember that this cycle will last 28 days. Normally, sa mga babae. Kasi, di ba, may mga girls tayo, mga female tayo na irregular ang menstruation. So, may mga ganyan tayo. May irregular ang kanilang menstruation. Ano ibig sabihin ng irregular? So, halimbawa, nagka-menstruation siya ng 23rd of the month. So, dapat expected sa next month, nandyan din sa 23 ang kanyang menstruation. So, that is the regular. Yan lang sa mga 5 to 7 days ang pagitan. Pero pag tumagal na, halimbawa, 2 weeks na, wala ka pang, nag-expect ka ng menstruation at wala pa, irregular na yon, no? Hindi na siya normal or irregular nga. Now, which part of the menstrual cycle where the cell travels through the fallopian tube where it can be fertilized? Now, if the student will try to look at the figure and they will try to read the definition of each phase, kasi dito, ang sinulat ko lang, ang nilagay ko lang, menstrual phase lang. The first phase or the first stage. Now, if they are going to read this one, makikita nila kung anong stage o ano yung sagot dito sa tanong na to. What particular phase is the thickening of the lining of the uterus in preparation for pregnancy? Anong phase naman yon? No? So, ang sasagot nila, either ovulation, follicular, luteal. Ayan. What phase where eggs mature inside the follicle? So, ganun pa rin. They are going to look at this figure. No? So ito yung medyo mahirap sa sa modular distance learning kasi the student will just read, no? Magbabasa lang sila and then ah yung usually na nakukuha sa classroom sa paliwanag ng teacher ay hindi nila nakukuha dito sa ganitong klaseng pag-aaral kasi they are just going to read and then may guide question, paano kung hindi nagbasa? Paano kung hindi naintindihan? So, kaya pinadali namin itong LAS, Learning Activity Sheet in Science din. So, merong merong text, merong information, tapos may figure, tapos may guide question kagad para balikan nila ulit. So, magkakaroon ng ah, parang memorization na lang ang ano nito, ano, ang learning nila. Medyo madali lang, pero kung babasahin ulit, magkakaroon din. Sana magkaroon ng learning. Okay. Now, feedback mechanism. Ito na yan. Ito na yung objective number 3. The same hormones that control female puberty and oogenesis. Yung oogenesis, highlight ko siya. Baka kasi bago to sa pandinig ng mga bata natin. At sa inyo na rin po, oogenesis is the creation of the egg cell. No? Oogenesis. This is how the ovary creates an egg cell. Also controls the menstrual cycle. Estrogen, LH, and FSH. So, ito yun. Tatlo. Estrogen, LH, and FSH. Estrogen control the secretion of the two pituitary hormones by acting on the hypothalamus. Yan, ito medyo nakakalito. Which controls the pituitary gland. So, estrogen controls. So, ibig sabihin, etong S dito sa figure na to, kung nakikita nyo siya, yung figure natin, yung estrogen So dito, sa negative feedback, pag sobrang dami na ng estrogen sa katawan, medyo masama din yun, no? Kasi nagkakos din yan ng personality, ng change of personality sa isang babae. Kaya ang mangyayari is ibabalance niya. So kung marami na, ititigil na ni anterior pituitary ang pag-create ng LH at FSH para hindi na mag-create si ovary ng estrogen sa katawan. Ngayon, kung konti, it will become a positive feedback. So, si hypothalamus ay magsisend ng gonadotropic releasing hormone papunta kay anterior pituitary at si anterior naman magsisend ng LH, FSH papunta kay ovary at si ovary naman ay magre-release ng kanyang hormones, estrogen or progesterone. Pag konti lang. Pero pag marami, magiging negative feedback na siya. So, ibabalik lang yung level. During most of the menstrual cycle, estrogen and progesterone provide negative feedback. So, during. So, mostly, negative feedback ang ginagamit ng katawan natin para maibalik sa normal ang dami ng hormones sa katawan. This keeps their level more or less constant. During 12 to 14 of the menstrual cycle, however, estrogen provides a positive feedback indicated by the green line. Ayan, may green line tayo dito. Sa picture na to, may green line. And then, to the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, this causes a rapid rise in the production of estrogen by the ovaries and leads to ovulation. So, kailangan, mostly ang ginagamit na type of feedback mechanism is negative feedback, but then, sometimes, may gumagamit din tayo ng positive feedback dito. Kasi naman, ginagamit ang positive feedback para makagawa ng para mag-ovulate ang mga babae. So, ang ovulation, bang ibig sabihin ng ovulation? Ayun. This is when an egg is released from the biggest follicle and travels through the fallopian tube where it can be fertilized. It is not fertilized, it dissolves in about 24 to 48 hours. So, yun yan. No? Pag hindi nag-function ang positive feedback, walang egg cell na makikreate. Now, based on the information above, and its figure, how do you think negative feedback work? Ayun, babasahin nyo lang uli. So super dali. So, estrogen and progesterone, number 2. Based on the information above its figure, how do you think positive feedback work? Ayan. Estrogen and progesterone provide, number 3. Estrogen and progesterone provide a negative feedback to the hypothalamus and pituitary. What do you think will happen next? Anong mangyayari kapag nag-provide if the estrogen and progesterone provide a negative feedback to the hypothalamus? Ano mangyayari? So, nandito yun sa text, nandito rin yun sa picture. So, dalawa yung pagkukuhanan nyo. Now, let's go to the activity number 2. In order, please. Ayan. Nagbigay pa ako ng hint dito kasi baka hindi makita. Medyo malabo. So, yung hint kasi, parang bonus na lang to sa mga bata, no? So, dito, lalagyan nila, arrange the following menstrual phases in order. Use numbers 1 to 4. Write your answer in the answer sheet. So, kayo po, sagutin nyo kung kaya nyong sagutin yan. Ayan. Basta, ang hint natin, menstruation would be the first. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung number 1. Ano yung 2, 3, 4 nyo dyan? Okay. Now, let's go to the activity 3. Ayan, puro activity na. The title of the activity is Arrow, Arrow, Everyday. Using the diagram below, figure number 6, answer the following questions. Write your answer in the answer sheet. So, naglagay din ako ng meaning, ng code. Arrow down means decrease amount of hormones. Arrow up means increase amount of hormones kasi may arrow. No? Ayan. So, mga grade 10 students, so pag nakita nyo to, may ibig sabihin siya sa baba. Ayan. Pag nakita nyo yung mga arrow-arrow dito. Now, so dito, may guide question tayo dyan. No? Activity 3 pala to. If there is a decreased level of estrogen, what do you think the hypothalamus will do? Ito yun. Increased level of estrogen. Anong mangyayari? Anong ginagawa ni hypothalamus? Ano ibig sabihin nito? GnRH is another type of hormone. If the hypothalamus increase the amount of GnRH, what do you think the pituitary will do? Anong ginagawa ni pituitary? Ano ibig sabihin ng arrow up FSH? So, madali lang, no? They're just going to look at the picture. If the pituitary increases the amount of FSH, what do you think the ovary will do? Anong gagawin ni ovary based on the picture? So, pag nakita nito, sobrang dali niya. Sobrang dali. So, I preferred to make this easier for our grade 10 para ma-encourage ba magsagot? Kasi pag mahirap, hindi naman binabasa na. No? What What particular hormone initiate the start of negative feedback mechanism? So, saan nagsimula? Okay, anong klase ng hormone? Now, valuing. Answer the following question. Write your answer on your answer sheet. What will happen if one of the hormones involved in menstruation malfunctions? Anong kaya ang mangyayari kapag ang isang hormone ay nag-malfunction? Ibig sabihin ng malfunction, walang nasikret na hormones. Ganon, sira yung kanyang yung gland na dapat magsusupply ng hormones ay medyo may damage. So, nangyayari yan usually sa katawan, no? Sa katawan ng babae. How can we prevent hormonal imbalance to avoid menstruation? So, dito magre-research na kayo dito. Ano ba ang ginagawa natin na prevention para ma-prevent natin ang hormonal imbalance? So, hindi na ako naglagay ng example. Try to make a research on this grade 10 student, no? So, para masagutan nyo to. Now, read each question very carefully. Post-test na ako. Write your answer on the answer sheet. So, sagutan nyo rin po kung kaya nyo sagutan. Number 1, which of the following group of hormones is responsible for menstruation? Ayan, makikita nyo dyan. A, B, C, or D lang yan. What point in the menstrual cycle endometrium thickens? Babalikan niya uli yung binasa niya. Negative feedback happens when blank. So, babalikan niya uli yung binasa niya. Number 4, what hormones are responsible for the menstruation symptoms experienced by women before and after menstruation? Anong hormone ang responsable? What part of the female reproductive organ sheds during menstruation? Yung dumudugo. Now, dito sila mag-answer. No? Ito yung maganda kasi hindi na sa papel. May answer sheet na. Yan. Yun. Okay? So, meron din ako ditong answer key. Hindi ko na ilalagay. Okay? Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. If you like this video, again, please subscribe to my channel, Sir Pops TV. Ito siya. No? Piniplay ko lang din na tingnan ko yung video. Tapos meron din ako nakita, no? Mas maganda siya. Grade 10 Science, Role of Hormones Involving in the Female. Valenzuela, FB Live. Hi, ma'am. Ang galing niyo pong gumawa ng video. Shoutout po sa inyo. Dito po, kay Valenzuela, FB Live. So, tumutulong din siya sa mga students. No? So, malaki kasing nagagawang tulong itong paggawa ng video. No? So, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you for watching.